The race for governor has officially started in Delaware. We talk with Republican candidate Lacey Lafferty, and the great chubby checker is in Wilmington. We'll talk with the man with the #1 song of all time. This is the Delaware Way. Hello, I'm Larry Menti, and this is the Delaware Way. Before we are done, before the next gubernatorial election, we will have interviewed all of the gubernatorial candidates, and we are going to now introduce the very first person to announce their campaign for governor. Lacey Lafferty is running for governor. Lacey, you announced extremely early. When did you announce?
I announced April 2013.
And why so early, and what was the reaction?
Well, the purpose of it is what I wanted to come out early, like other candidates have done in other states, as well as even 25 years ago. I was in politics 25 years ago before I was a state trooper. And even back then, the Democrats came out early. And that's something the Republican Party's not used to. They're not used to their candidates coming out early.
So what was the reaction when you approached the Republican Party about running?
Well, they were very apprehensive.
And let me tell you, and I want to get to your background in a second, because a lot of people may not know you, and I'm going to make sure you get a chance to talk about your background. But when I talk to people in the Republican Party about Lacey Lafferty, someone else's name always comes up. They say, this is the new Christine O'Donnell, and they're scared to death of that. Is that fair or unfair?
That's unfair. I can't imagine why they would compare me to Christine O'Donnell. I mean, they don't know me, and to have that character association with Christine, I don't understand.
You think that's an attack?
Yes, I do. I think they're scared of me. I think they know I'm a strong woman. They know I'm pretty determined when I do things, and that comes from my background. When I do something, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
So when somebody compares you in that way, they're trying to diminish you.
Yes. Tell
me about yourself. For people that don't know you, what makes you qualified to be governor?
Well, I started early in my career in agriculture, and I had a business, $1 million business of agriculture, farming, poultry, growing, as well as trucking company. I excelled that and went into politics and learned from the grassroots up. I had to work within the committees and with other people. I actually started in the Democratic Party. I was a Democrat 25 years ago, and knew a lot of people, formed a lot of associations with people. And so at that point in time, a friend of mine came to me and says, hey, would you work on my campaign? And I said, certainly. So I changed over to the Republican Party. Needless to say, that was a winning campaign. I took some of my knowledge that I learned within that winning campaign, and I've applied it to my own. And so that being said, I also began a second career as a Delaware State Trooper. I worked briefly in the Attorney General's office and then pursued into the Delaware State Police. And that being said, working with the people of the state of Delaware on that level, I could have continued in politics 25 years ago, but I chose the state police to be closer to the people and get to know what the average person out here in our communities, what they want out of their candidates, what they want out of the politicians. So that being said, I grew from there.
Because it's an unusual path to the governor. It's not somebody whose resume, it's an impressive resume, but when you look at the resume, it's not the normal resume you see for a gubernatorial candidate. Normally there's a higher elected office or a higher cabinet position or appointed office. Do you see that as a benefit or a detriment?
I see it as a benefit, because a lot of the people that what I hear, and this is the reason why I walked the entire state last year, to get to know the people and shake their hand and be personal with them and want to know what they're thinking and what they want in their candidates. And everybody's saying they do not want career politicians. And that's why I came in as a citizen politician. I want them to know that I'm not corrupt. I'm not in this for special interest or bought and sold. I mean, I could have started this 25 years ago, but I chose to go through the path of being a public servant with the police department to get closer to the people and to be able to serve them in a way that, I put my life on the line every day for them. I put my life on the line if I was their as their governor. I step in front of a bullet for them. So, that being said, I feel I'm highly skilled and highly qualified to be their governor.
Let's go through some issues now. Let's stop talking about politics and your path to the gubernatorial campaign and talk about some issues. And since you mentioned you were a state trooper, let's start with crime in Wilmington. Because when people read headlines across the country, one of the first things they read is murder capital USA. Fair or unfair? Because there was 27 murders last year, and that's a bad weekend in Chicago. But per capita, it creates headlines. So it's as much as a crime problem and a safety problem as it is a public relations problem, because businesses won't move to Delaware if they think it's, or Wilmington, if they think it's that dangerous. What is the first step you would take to attack crime in Delaware?
Again, I'm a taskmaster. I can multitask. So to me, to tackle that crime problem in Wilmington, we have to be simultaneously attacking the economics part of to keep the business that are in Wilmington, but to bring more businesses to get people back to working. Because crime also, when you reduce crime, or actually add to the economy, you reduce crime automatically. I mean, that's what it will do. So when you put people back to work, your crime will drop because people aren't lingering out on the streets and doing crime-related activities.
Let's stop on that theory for a second. But if you bring a big insurance company in to Wilmington, they might not necessarily be hiring the people that are committing the crimes because they're not qualified for the jobs that they would create. Isn't that the case?
That's some of the case, but this is where we need to start and help our entrepreneurs start the mom and pop businesses again that used to flourish in the city of Wilmington. If you know, we're over-regulated, and it's what it has is diminished our capability to have these mom and pop businesses all through Wilmington, and that's why now it's hard to start a business. This is why you don't have the early entrepreneurship from the younger generation, because now they have no skills to be able to, or methods to be able to start their own. There's a lot of people that want to start their own businesses, but they don't have the mechanism. They don't have the permits, the fees, the structure, as well as the financing available. I would like to say, instead of spending a lot of money on grants for big business, $2 million that goes to Chase or JP Morgan, I would like to take that money out of the DITO office to be able to $25,000, $50,000 smaller grants to these mom and pop businesses that can start up. They're the ones that are the backbone of America. They're the ones that's going to be able to, again, when you say they aren't skilled and qualified, these people can be able to work in those kind of jobs, whether it's plumbers, painters, electricians, you can create all kinds of businesses, barbershops, beauty shops, things of that nature that people are on low-level, skills.
And when you bring in the big companies, the smaller companies build around them as well.
Exactly.
When we come back, there is something on the table right now. There is a proposal on the table to combine the Newcastle County Police Department and the Wilmington Police Department into one to battle crime in Wilmington. I want to get your reaction to that when we return with Lacey Lafferty, candidate for governor on the Delaware Way.